Okay, now I'm going to install the clamp ring on the lower part of the ball joint. We're just going to use a pair of long nose needle nose pliers. We're just going to expand it. Make sure you want to make sure that's sealed in. Just press it around the edge. That takes care of one. Now we're going to install the rubber boot. This is for our lower ball joint. It's a little bit tricky. Now we're going to install the upper grease boot seal for our upper ball joint. Now I'm just going to take a screwdriver and poke down and seat our rubber boots in for our grease seal to make sure it's seated. Now we're going to install the passenger side spindle. Okay, now I'm going to tighten up the camber adjustment. Now we just left it at the factory setting, so we're just going to retighten it back down. We haven't changed anything, and eventually when I put springs on, I'll have to take it in and get it aligned, and they'll have to redo this and re-straighten it back out with the new springs on it. So, but for right now, we're just going to tighten it back up the way it was originally. Now I'm going to reinstall the rotor. Got rained on a little bit out in the weather, so got a little bit of rust on it, but it's okay. Keep plenty of paper towels around for this job. Now I'm going to install the nut that holds the rotor on. Now the nut that holds on the rotor is 1 1/16 inches, so we're just going to start snugging that down a little bit. We always want to test it while we're tightening it up. Okay, once we get that tight, we want to make sure it rotates smoothly without any play. And now we're going to put our keeper lock clip back in with our cotter pin. Okay, that's going to just about do it for our rotor. Now we're going to install the caliper support. Now our socket that fits the nuts that hold, the bolts that hold on the caliper support are 13/16. Now I'm going to put our persuader bar on and make sure these are thoroughly tight. We don't want to go too much with this, just so the bolt stretches a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to drop in the new brake pads. Now I'm going to take and compress these two pistons in back into our caliper, and I'm going to do that by taking a big giant C-clamp, one of the original, our old brake shoes. We're going to take this and put it in there and compress it. And now to do this, we have to take the top off of our brake cylinder, where reservoir where the fluid is stored, so when the piston is pushed back in, it can relieve the pressure and push out the excess brake fluid right here, and we're going to capture the dripping with the towels. So that's what I'm going to do next. Now we want to press this in carefully and slowly. Now we can see some of the excess brake fluid dripping out of the top of the reservoir from the pistons being pushed in. Now that we got the cylinders, the pistons compressed, we just drop on the caliper, set our caliper bolts back in. That takes care of one. That takes care of two. (11/16) socket and a 1/2 inch impact. And we'll finish tightening them by hand. Now I'm going to connect up the tie rod ends. Now I'm going to tighten up the tie rod end with our 13/16 socket. And next I'll drop in our cotter pin. Give it a slight tap. Bend it open. Now I'm going to mount our new Zerk fittings. Now the two with a 90-degree elbow, these ones go on the upper ball joint, and the straight just go on the lower ball joint. So our next step is to install these. Okay, now we got everything all reassembled, as you can see. And I'll go to the other side. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to just put the tires on and take it for a test drive next.